It's finally tutorial time!
Yup, a tutorial for me.
Hey, no! The tutorial was going to be for me the whole time!
Yeah, until you got outdated by me.
We are literally twins except for the face design!
So, you can pretend my tutorial is about you.
It is about me!
Yes, it is about you.
Ah!
Actually, the tutorial is not about either of you.
Well then, who's it about?
Me. It's about me.
What?
Evasive maneuver! So, as promised, this is a tutorial on my craft prototype 3D printed model. Even though a lot of you clearly don't need it because you're flawlessly recreating characters without the tutorial. And a few of you even beat me to the lofty armor. Like, how is that possible? I didn't even tell anyone I was gonna do that. Just get out of here. You clearly don't need the tutorial. I don't know why you're hanging around. But for the rest of you, before we get started, quick disclaimer. This figure requires a lot of not-so-easy piece modification with sharp objects and super strong and unforgiving superglue. So please don't attempt this without parental supervision. Here's what you'll need. Gorilla superglue, non-corrugated cardboard, sandpaper or a Dremel, scissors, and garden clippers. And the Lego pieces you'll need are this toe ball joint, and that's all. The entire figure uses just this one Lego piece, or 20 of them to be more precise. Weebrick is where I get all my parts because they're cheap and have a pretty decent quality for off-brand Lego. Start by cutting a socket off of this piece. Sand it or use a Dremel to smooth the base. Now take the other piece and cut it roughly in half. Sand this edge down as well. Then superglue this piece to the socket at a sideways angle. Now superglue cardboard to the bottom of this piece to make it stronger. Cut off all the overhangs to get the perfect shape to fit this piece. And you don't have to do this, but I like to shave off the studs with a box cutter for a cleaner look. Make 8 of these for the limbs. And yes, every single arm and leg uses the exact same piece. Now for the torso. Cut this piece in half, shave off the stud, sand the edge down, make another. Glue these pieces together, then take another piece and cut it halfway through the first stud. Then cut it at this angle, which can be kind of tricky. Sand it smooth and then make another one. Glue these to both sides of the torso piece. Then glue a cut-off stud on the back. Cut out a cardboard piece to fit in the middle of this torso to make it more sturdy. To make the hip, take a piece and cut it all the way down to the edge. Make another and glue them together. Then take another piece and cut it right at the edge of the first stud. Then glue this to the top of the other piece. Then glue a small strip of cardboard around it to make it more sturdy. Connect this to the torso. To make the feet, take a cut socket and glue a strip of cardboard to the bottom of it. Then fold in the excess to where it just touches the socket. Then paint it with a liquid-based superglue to really solidify it. Gorilla superglue works, but something more thin and runny works better. To connect the arms to the shoulders, cut off 2 ball pieces and glue them together. Make 3 of these for the shoulders and neck. Make sure you let this fully dry before connecting it. And I mean, really that goes for all of these pieces, so yeah. To make the hand, glue a strip of cardboard to a socket. Then cut it down to the size of finger you want and cut 2 slits in it. Then cut a finger on the edge just a tiny bit shorter, cut off all the corners, and bend it in the shape you want. Do the same thing for the thumb. Then paint on the thin superglue to solidify the piece. Make sure you're happy with the shape of the hand before you put the superglue on it. Once the cardboard absorbs the superglue and dries, it's really a solid piece that you cannot change. Use a piece with a cut-off ball for the head. Okay, so this is the base that you can use to create any character you want. And like I already mentioned, I can't believe how many people are making this without the tutorial. You guys beat me to the lofty armor, someone made a Stephen He, and a few of you made a Murder Drones character, and literally I wanted to do that. Stop beating me to this stuff! Anyway, for the lofty armor, it's just a matter of beefing up the torso and adding a few armor pieces to the arms. So you kind of have to eyeball the proportions to make this chest piece fit just right. I like to pinch the cardboard to the figure so I can get just the right size piece. A technique I use to make the pieces symmetrical is I'll mark what I want to cut on one half, then I fold the piece in half, then I cut it, which works pretty well. Before I put this piece on, I'm going to thicken up the torso just a little with these scraps of cardboard. Now I'm ready to glue on this main torso piece. Another way you can use this makeshift mirror modifier is to use a piece of paper. This way you don't have to actually crease your cardboard. Just draw the design on half of it, cut it out, and then trace it onto the piece of cardboard you want to use. Now for all these armor pieces, I want to preserve the cardboard look without darkening it. But I'm still going to use this liquid superglue on the edges just so the piece is still solid. And I'll also be outlining all the armor pieces with a Sharpie. And before I put this armor piece on, I'm gonna paint super glue on the main torso just to make sure it's super solid. But if you do this, be incredibly careful not to put on too much super glue or it might leak into the sockets. I made a few more armor pieces for the sides and back, and now let's move on to the arms. To start, I'm gonna thicken these upper arm leg pieces, which is as easy as gluing a 2-layer thick cardboard strip to the bottom, cutting off the excess, and then wrapping the whole piece in a bigger strip. Then you cut off all the overhangs except for one, which you wrap over the piece. And do this to 4 of these for the upper arm legs. For the lower arm legs, just glue cardboard to the sides, trimming off the overhangs except the one you wrap on top. And these will be your lower arm legs. Now, to armor the upper arm, make these armor pieces using the same technique I used for the chest plate, then connect them to the torso. The lower arm just has this one armor piece. And don't forget to outline all these limb pieces with Sharpie. Then connect them to the arms. I'm not going to add any armor pieces to the legs, instead I'm just going to outline them with Sharpie. For the hip, cut a slit in a square piece, then slide the ball peg in between the slit. I'm going to thicken the feet in a similar method I used to thicken the upper arm legs, except I'm going to wrap the excess on the heel. Then I'll glue a strip to the front that I'll outline with Sharpie. Then glue a strip that wraps around the socket. Then connect the feet to the body. Glue this one armor piece to the hand and then connect the hands to the body. Now for the head, cut the socket piece in half and glue 2 cut 1x1 pieces, which you should have plenty of by now, to this piece. Then wrap the whole thing in cardboard and glue on an angry smiley face. And there you have it, Lofty Armor Mark II. Now for the double expression piece design. Glue 4 of these rectangle magnets to a sheet of cardboard and cut the shape out. Then make the same head we used earlier, except only use 1 1x1 piece instead of 2. And glue the magnet piece roughly in the center of this. Then glue a magnet or a socket piece to the top of the figure for hairpiece attachments. Now for the faces, I made this template you can use to cut out the exact shape you need. Cut it in half using the guidelines and then cut out the rest of the shape. Then draw the eyes and mouth you want to use. Then make a second set for the back. Then sandwich these magnets in between the cutouts. And make sure it's in the right orientation to fit to the headpiece. To make sure the edges don't get crumpled, glue cardboard scraps in between the overhangs. Then cut off all the excess. And there you have it! Alright, I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and I can't wait to see what you guys make with it.
Hey there!
Yeah! Who the heck are you?
I'm Clofty. I was just wondering, when am I gonna get a tutorial? Because, like, I'm also a prototype 3D printed figure. I think it'd be really cool if I have one, and...
I'll flip it over!
Boy, what a jerk!
But aren't you, like, a tiny version of him, though?
Okay, something over!
Thank you guys so much for your incredible support. Anytime I see a fan art or a fan-made figure, it just makes me so happy. You guys are so talented, and the fact that you're using that talent to recreate my stuff is just so cool. I wish I could feature every single fan-made figure here, but there's so many I can't keep up. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for watching my videos.